this video, I will be doing an updated 2022 Senate prediction as of April 20th of 2022. So let's start by looking at the generic ballot as of right now, which has the Republicans up by 2.3 points, pretty steady over the past 2 months now. Look at the recent polls, Democrats have been doing slightly better, but even if the environment is even or even D+1, that's still not necessarily a good sign for the Democrats. And there's still 15% of the voters on average undecided, and those voters are typically speaking more friendly towards Republicans given in the previous elections. I will be starting to vote in the safe Democratic states. They currently have 36 seats now up for re-election. The Republicans have 29, Oregon, California, New York, Connecticut, Vermont, and the state of Maryland, as well as the state of Hawaii, 43 seats for the Democratic Party that are safe. Now, for Republicans, I would have to explain a few of these seats here. So, looking at some of these seats here, Republicans are at 45. First up, Oklahoma has 2 Senate elections, just like the same reason of Georgia. There's an incumbent retiring there. There will be a special election. Missouri, you can have Eric Greitens that could narrow this race down likely margin, but he's right now, I'd say, compared to the other few candidates combined, I think the other candidates have a better chance over Eric Greitens. Iowa, we have Chuck Grassley, going to be pretty solid, given that in 2016, he won the state by 24 points, and in 2010, Grassley won by 31 points, so even more significant of a margin there. Alaska ranked choice voting should help the Republicans there as well, so that's 45 for the Republicans. Some likely Democratic states I'd like to get out of the way here. Washington, Illinois, pretty obviously, both of those states going to go to the Democrats. They might not be a likely margin, but that does not mean they will not go to the Democrats. Colorado, a bit conflicted. Bennett did win by 5.7 points. I'm pretty tempted to actually move it up to a likely margin, considering that right now speaking, I thought the Democrats would be probably in the worse position than they currently are in. Remember, Biden did win the state by 13.5 points. If Republicans, they overperform by, the 2020 election by 7 points, they're still trailing. They're still not necessarily cracking it within 5 points there. Going to the likely Democratic states here, likely Republicans, I have Ohio, of course. No matter who the Republicans are going to be have J.D. Vance, Josh Mandel, Jane Timken, whatever. I think this Mike Gibbons, whoever. I think the Republicans will be able to hold Ohio. Tim Ryan is a decent candidate. He is more in touch with the working class, but of course Ohio is Ohio, and given the national environment, yeah, that's going to be likely. Florida, Ron DeSantis won by 7 points. Did very well here in the state of Florida. Marco Rubio defeated the Democratic challenger here. He won by 7.7, which was 6.5 points better than Donald Trump's performance. North Carolina as well, I think likely as well in this race. Richard Burr won by 5.7 points. I just really think that he is, although he has retired, the Republicans should be able to win the state given the national environment and a generic ballot. Wisconsin will be also considered a likely state. You may disagree, but Ron Johnson won by 3.4 points. Russ Feingold thought he would be able to unseat Ron Johnson. In fact, most polls had Russ Feingold ahead, but Johnson ended up pulling up a narrow, not necessarily very narrow, but a decently good margin in the state of Wisconsin, 3.4 points. Very good for a Republican in such a swing state. So you have the final states left here. So for the Republican Party, I will have their leading states: Georgia, Arizona, and Nevada. Alright, all 30 seats held by Democratic incumbents, all in the Sun Belt region. I consider, looking at these seats, they're all held by Democratic incumbents. 2 of them were special elections, the state of Georgia special and the state of Arizona and its special election. So both of these candidates won by about 2 points, just over 2 points in both of their races. Both of them, they're in the Sun Belts. Both of them were special elections, so a lot of similarities. Georgia, I see Atlanta suburbs not necessarily turning out the Atlanta area. and I think Republicans could do very well in the rural areas. In Arizona, I think a lot of Maricopa voters are gonna revert back a little bit towards the Republicans. In Nevada here, Kevin Cortez Masto, CCM, did not do too well. She only got 47.1% of the vote. There's a lot of, choices here. You had none of these candidates being a very popular choice actually got 40% of the vote. So if you add that vote to Joe Heck, I believe, the Republican challenger, the Republican candidate in this race, he would have won. So Masto won by a plurality. Looks like the national environment not really in favor of her. She's probably going to lose re-election. Going to the final two states here, I'll tell you that both of them are titled states. Let's go to New Hampshire first. I think New Hampshire hasn't only won by 0.14%, but she is facing a electoral giant, Kelly Ayotte, and she still lost. And also Ayotte and Chris Sununu has both announced that they will not be running for this election, so that's why I think this race should be decently good for Maggie Hassan. I think she should be able to win by 1%. Not exactly a best margin, but considering the national environment, she should still be pretty happy about it. Going to Pennsylvania here, the polls actually have indicated, I believe, that the Democrats have the edge in the state of Pennsylvania in a lot of their polls a long time ago. Recently has narrowed up in a lot of polls, and I think that no matter if you nominate John Fetterman, who's likely to be in the nomination, he's not going to do too well in those suburbs. I'm just going to open it. Pat Toomey won the race because he did well in the suburbs. Plainly speaking, he won Bucks with over 50% of the vote. He even won Chester. He won Dauphin. He won Centra. Did very well across the state, especially in these suburban areas. That's why he was able to win. I think a problem with John Fetterman is that he's not going to be able to get a lot of those suburban voters out to vote for him. And look, Conor Lamb, who is unlikely to win the nomination, I think that he may be able to do better in the suburbs, not necessarily in the rural areas or the urban areas. Similar with John Fetterman, not going to be able to do very well in the rural areas. So I do think that in the end, no matter who's a candidate, this race will be exceptionally close. It will be decided by under 1% in my opinion, but the Democrats will be able to hold the seat here. The Republicans will be able to hold the seat here, so 53-47 Republicans, very likely to win the Senate, depending on the margins in a lot of these states. Anyways, thanks for watching today's video. Do subscribe to my YouTube channel, like and comment down. I noticed that you guys are not commenting as often as you previously did, so do comment down suggestions down below. Thanks for watching and have a nice day. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!